Well, thanks very much for coming on and joining my video today. We are back in Lunar Zoo. This is our zoo, basically all about buildings and foliage. So first we did our entrance and our meerkats and our aardvarks and our koalas and our tortoises and our penguins. And now we are moving over here. In today's episode we are going to construct something in here, and it's going to be an orangutan enclosure. Now I've not done orangutans in the game before, so I don't really know what they need or how they act, but I'm going to attempt to build something in here, and I've already started a bit of work on it out here. So you can see it's going to be a large kind of not a complete dome, it's going to be an open topped dome. Which wasn't possible until now because they've now added these lovely mesh pieces into the game. So all you could do before, you could use the in-game barriers to create a straight bit of fencing like that, but you couldn't do these bits at the top where it goes at an angle. So now that these lovely mesh pieces are in the game, we're able to try and manipulate them into different shapes, which is really good. It's a lovely piece, this mesh piece. However, it's going to be awkward. I know it's going to be awkward trying to get them to go around a corner at the end. Rather than doing it all in straight lines, I'm going to try and do it around a corner, which again would be easier when they're flat like this, but when they're angled like this and you then try and do another one at an angle here, you end up with this little triangle here which won't be filled in. So there are small mesh pieces, so I'm probably going to have to use lots of them to kind of fill in the gaps. So we shall see. It's gonna be fun. I think it's going to be a nightmare possibly, but it's going to be filling this space here is the idea. So this is my basic path structure. I just wanted to raise it up, give it a bit of interest, you know, give people sort of viewing platforms to look into, and then inside here is going to be various sort of climbing frames in the middle and possibly around the outside of the cage as well. Probably some tall trees that are climbable, so sticking right out the top. That's the basic plan, and then around the back it's going to be more of this same foliage that I've done here, so trees and maybe some shrubs, probably filling in the gaps underneath the raised areas of the pathway with shrubs, trees all along the back, and then probably a pathway coming off of here leading down to something else going on over here somewhere, is my basic plan. And then the entrance will probably just be right here. The actual barrier doorway will be here probably. So yeah, that's the plan. Now this could go really well, or it could be a complete nightmare. Really not too sure. Depends how easy it is to get these to go around a corner. So I'm hoping what I can do is build a straight piece and then one end of the curve, and then just copy the whole thing around to fill in the gap at the other end. That's my hope. That's my dream. These things never quite go according to plan, so yeah, I'm not expecting it to be perfect, but hey, I'll give it a go and see what happens. So let me go away and try and do a bit of work on that, and I'll come back hopefully in not too long. I mean, for you it won't be long, for me it might be days. And hopefully I'll have a dome built. So let's see what I can do. Right, well, we're getting there. This has been a very slow and painful process to get this far. But as you can see, we are now just about at a stage where I actually have a cage. And I think it looks pretty good actually. I'm really happy with the shape that I've managed to get. But like I said, it was not easy doing these end pieces. There was an awful lot of manipulation of the pieces. So let me just show you. Actually, I've still got a few little gaps that I need to fill in, but let me just show you what I've had to do. So here, as you can see, obviously you put your piece of mesh in there and you end up with these little triangles, as you can see on this side here, and so I've had to use these smaller pieces like this to kind of fill in the gaps. On all of these, you know, so there's a slightly larger one there, and then another small one and another small one, and on it goes. So yeah, quite time consuming, and obviously it's not perfect, but it's close enough. You end up with the odd tiny little gap. Clearly, obviously this bit here, I just need to add in another couple of small ones. Unfortunately, it wasn't as easy as copying and pasting, because of course I built I built one side, and then I built an end, and I thought I could just copy that whole side and that end, just twist it around 180 degrees and slot it on the other side. But of course it didn't work out like that, because it wasn't perfectly straight and symmetrical, so it didn't all balance out and connect properly. So I had to I did copy it and paste it and move it around, but then I had to move quite a few pieces. All these wooden pieces, all the logs were just not quite mirrored properly. So there's been an awful lot of slow, painful maneuvering, changing all the angles and everything to try and match everything up. And in the end, I think it actually looks really nice. So I am very pleased with the results, but it has been a bit of a nightmare getting to this stage. It's probably taken me probably over an hour, I think, just to build this. So yeah, it's that may just be because I'm rubbish at building. It may just be because I'm a bit slow, but there we go. That's that's why we do these things, isn't it? For the end result. And in the end result, I think, is looking good. Obviously there's still an awful lot to do here. I'm also just, as you can see, obviously the path isn't close enough now to the enclosure, so I'm going to redo the path because I do want it to be quite close up to the bars. And in fact, I think at the back I'm probably going to raise the path up and keep it high all the way around the back. I think will be the idea. And then the entrance is going to be in one of these panels here, so the door will come in here and the barrier will just copy the shape of the cage, and we'll have to see what the animals do once they're in, whether they start climbing on any of these logs or if they just use whatever I build inside. So obviously the idea is that inside I will build them some climbing frames, and they'll have some trees in here that they can climb. I know there's a couple of really tall trees. I can't remember which type they are, but there are some that will come right up over the top of the enclosure. Whether the animals will actually climb up there or not, I don't know. I think the mechanics of the game work differently for each kind of monkey or ape, or whatever they are, orangutan. I think each one, they all have their own climbing habits. So quite how much climbing the orangutans are going to do, I just don't know yet, because I've not used them before, which is why I wanted to put them in. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see when it's all done. And then what I will also do in this area is obviously decorate around the back. So I'll continue the theme with these shrubs and trees, certainly along the back here. I may do something in this gap. I may have a small food stand or something. I quite fancy having something else here, because I've not done any food yet in this zoo. So there's no cafe areas or anything like that. So I feel like I do need to introduce some stuff like that at some point. So yeah, maybe this will be an opportunity just to stick in maybe a toilet and a food place or a drink place or something. I don't know. I will see as I go along. I mean, potentially at the back here, actually, I could do something, even though it's going to be raised up. I could put in a row of food and drink places, maybe. Not sure. We'll see what happens. See what takes my fancy as I go along. But I like the look of it. I think I've got the size just about right. It looks quite realistic for a large orangutan enclosure. It looks in proportion, I think, to the rest of the buildings. So yeah, we shall see. So next, I don't know what I'm going to do next. I need to get the path sorted, I guess, because that's the main sort of structure, isn't it? And then I can start working on the insides, I think, and trying to decide what kind of climbing frames I want to do. Obviously I need to get the barrier put in and actually get the animals in as well, because then as I'm building I'll be able to see exactly where they're going, what how they're acting and climbing and whatever. So that's the plan. So let me crack on with some of that and I'll be right back. Right then, we have some orangutans. we have 5 orangutans in here. We have one big male who's having a snooze down here at the moment. Let's see if I can just zoom in on him. So who have we got here? Caliapa is our big male of the group. Then we have 4 females, so he's got 4 girlfriends, the lucky devil. We have Orlia, Ningsi, Lestari, Yuri, and oh, I'm sure there's one more. Or was that? Hang on, no, that's right. No, 4. Yeah, that's 4, wasn't it? Yeah. So there we go. So we have our animals in, and I've done a bit of work inside here. So my theory was I wanted them to be able to climb on the outside without actually using the logs on the outside. I'll show you their traversable area in a minute because they can actually climb on some of these logs. But I didn't really want them to. I wanted to encourage them to just use whatever I built. So I built them this climbing frame. It comes up here and then it goes up along the edge here. And then in theory they can climb down this rope. I'll put this post. So this is, what is this one? East Asia unpainted timber. So I've just done that and put rope on each end to make it look like it's like a big swinging log. So in theory they can walk along here and then up on this rope as well. And then on this side I've done the same again. So you've got the wood coming up here and then up there like a ramp and into this platform here. I've also built them this platform in the middle using these lovely bamboo pieces. These what are they? African sticks panel bamboo. Yeah, really nice pieces. Just fancied something a bit different to the usual logs. And obviously put some bedding on as well. So the orangutans can climb up on these. Let me show you the traversable area because you can see clearly they can climb up here. It says that they can climb up these ramps and onto this bit. They can also then come up here and onto this bit of rope, down all the way along the log, onto here, down the ramp, and then down this ramp and onto the floor. However, they haven't done it yet. They haven't used these at all. So I'm a bit concerned that maybe they're not going to. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. There are some trees in here that they can climb. So you've got a hookthorn acacia here. You have this lovely Himalayan pine. I mean, look how tall that goes. And they can climb quite a way up here, I think. I think they can make it up to here if they want. But again, I haven't seen them do it. And then we have one of these Cecropia trees over here. And again, they can climb quite high in that. But again, I haven't seen them do it. Oh, and another hookthorn acacia there. I have seen them using this acacia tree here, but not much. They climb up to here and then they jump over onto the platform, which is better than nothing, but they don't seem to be climbing much, which is a shame. I've also just put some water in here. As you can see, they're having a little drink. Just a little natural pool of water for them to drink because they don't swim. So at least they can drink out of that. Obviously the entrance has gone in here, and I have raised up the pathway around the back. So it's nice and tall, and I wanted that so that this raised platform here was going to be just below this pathway, so people can stand here and get quite up close, hopefully, with the orangutans as they sit up on here. But again, they've not done that. I've not seen them up here once yet. Now, I know that it can take the computer a while to calculate where they climb and how they climb and where they end up, but this has been a little while now that they've been in here, and they haven't done any of the climbing yet, apart from these pieces here. Where I've put the bedding. You can see they jump a lot, so they jump from one side to the other of this platform bit here, but they don't go on it yet. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see what happens. But you get the idea. That's the basic climbing frames that I'll be doing inside. The rest of it will be filled up with some shrubs, maybe some more trees. There'll be quite a lot. I think because of this raised area, this platform, I'll probably build some custom supports under the flat pieces, and then where you've got the raised curved areas, I'll probably just fill it all up with shrubbery under there, so you can't see that there's no supports. I think that might look quite nice, kind of blend the areas in with a bit of a wild sort of bush area. And then more trees obviously around the back. I still haven't decided what I'm doing in regards to any food places. I'm not too keen on the idea of having a food sort of cafe area back here raised up. I'm not keen on raised buildings like that, because you end up with just having this big square blocky support bit underneath, and it just doesn't look very good. I know I could raise the land up and build it, but then it just looks fake, like it's been just terraformed just so you can have a couple of buildings on top. So yeah, I'm not too sure really. At least with this I can get away with that, because that would have been built like that on purpose. But they wouldn't raise up cafes to be up here. They would build them on a flat piece down here, let's be honest. So it just wouldn't look quite right. There's a chance I might put one over here on this lower area. I might be able to get away with that a bit more, because it'll be lower. I can disguise the supports for it with trees and shrubs, so that's a possibility. I won't do this way over this side, because there's probably going to be another pathway coming down off of this flat piece here, leading them into another area over here. So yeah, lots to think about. Look, he's almost climbing up the tree, isn't he? I mean, he's kind of moonwalking actually, but one day one of these people, or one of these orangutans, will actually climb up a tree. No, he's coming down to the ground. Oh well, never mind, you can't have everything. I'll keep an eye on them and see what they do. My dream, I have small dreams, but my dream is to see one of them on this log. It might happen, you never know. Right, so let me go away and see what I want to do next. I'm not too sure. I might do some more work inside first before I move to the outside area. Let me go away and do some more work. Just a mini update here. I've not done too much really. Just filled in the enclosure with shrubs and enrichment. So luckily you can use these big forage trays, which look really nice. I love these, and I've purposely put it with these trees and supports and on all these shrubs, kind of enclosing it. I think it looks, these things are a bit big and bold, so they look nice when they're blended in with the a bit of wildlife around them. This is my usual technique with the tamarind tree. I absolutely love this tree, and when you put it down into the ground like this, it just looks lovely, doesn't it? It just looks like a shrub with some flowers. So yeah, I do that a lot because it looks great. And then I've just filled it in with a few ferns and some shrubs, extra little tree in the middle here, and some ground cover stuff. This is the scaevola bush, I believe, this one, and then you've got the is that custard apple? Yeah. Some more enrichment. You've got a feeder here. What's this one? Is this oh, it's a tyre. Where do we think the tyre's gone? There it is. Well, that's good. They've obviously been playing with it. You can see they've got a beach ball in here. They've got a feeder there and a feeder there, so plenty of food enrichment. They have one of these little picky-uppy ball things here. There's another beach ball under there. And they've got one of these mirror things up on here. So plenty of things to keep them busy. Another tamarind tree sunk into the ground there. And then I've made this a little rock pool. I didn't like the look of it before, so I thought I'd decorate this with some mossy rocks, a little bit of the grass in the bottom there, and a couple of ferns. Nice and simple, but it just makes it look a bit more sort of custom built for the orangutans, rather than it trying to look like it was there naturally. Obviously this doesn't look natural, but it looks like it was purpose built for the enclosure, which it would have been. So that's it. That's all I've done in the last little update. That wasn't much. I just wanted to show you my progress. Sometimes when I go away and do some building, I get loads done. Sometimes I'll only have 15-20 minutes, before I get distracted by other things. You know, believe it or not, I do have a life outside of Planet Zoo, so I do go off and do other things in between. Sometimes these builds can happen in one session, sometimes it might happen over a few days. So obviously in this case I just didn't get much done, but I got a bit more time now. Oh, look at them using all their food things, aren't they clever? Yes, so I've got some more time now, so I'm going to crack on with some more. Not sure what I'm going to do next. I might start work on some of the outside area, I guess, because I think I'm pretty happy with how the habitat looks inside now. Might need to do a little bit of terrain painting so it's not all grassy, but other than that I need to kind of think about what I'm doing around the outside, the supports for the pathway as well. So yeah, lots to think about. Probably not going to do anything outside here. I'll fill in this gap here on this side of the pathway, but on this side of the pathway I won't, because this will be another habitat I think out here. I've got a bit of an idea of what I want to put in here, so I'm not going to touch that. I will just worry about the stuff on the inside of the path. So I'm going to go and crack on with some of that. Right, again, just a small update really. Just wanted to show you what I've done with the path. So I've added on the barriers. As soon as it gets raised up from the ground, I've put the barriers on all the way around because I think that looks pretty cool. And quite frankly, doing a custom barrier on these curved raised bits would just take me forever, and it wouldn't look anywhere as good as the in-game one. So that's the easiest thing to do there. And what I've done on the flat areas is just these really simple stone supports. So you've got one there, you've got one on the back here, and then you've got one on this piece over here as well. And obviously as they are, that doesn't look particularly good. I mean, it looks okay, it looks realistic, but it doesn't look great. But they will basically all be hidden by shrubs, which is why I wanted to show you now so you can see what I've done before I hide it, because essentially that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, so you won't really see them much, but you'll see glimpses of the stonework through the shrubbery. And obviously this one at the back here, you'll see through the habitat, because I'm not going to enclose it at the front, but it will be hidden back here. I've also just put a couple of these feature trees in here, these ghost gum trees, because they're kind of the two big standout trees. So I've just put them in the right place where I want them. Again, just checking the aesthetics and the line of sights. I think having them spaced out, and yeah, that's where I've decided to put them. And then I will obviously fill in all the gaps with other things, all the same sort of trees that I've used over here as well. I have decided I am going to put a small building here with probably just a food place, a burger place or something in it, I think is the plan. I thought, I wasn't too sure because you might be able to see it from here. I kind of like that you can see the habitat from through here, through the gaps in the trees here. I think that does look cool. So I might regret putting a building there because I think it's going to block this view, but at the same time you'll still be able to see something through there, even if it's not the habitat. Although I do like that view. I think that's, I know from going to zoos in real life, when you see that you instantly think, oh, I want to go around that way, I want to see what's in that cage. So yeah, I don't know, I might I'm going to put the building in and then I might regret it, but I don't know, we'll see. Until you try these things you don't know, do you? So yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do next actually. I think get that structure in place first, and then I can start looking at filling it all in with all my trees and my shrubs and flower beds or whatever I decide to put in. Yeah, okay, let me crack on with that, and we'll see whether I live to regret it or not. My habitat is finished. However, something has changed. Can you guess what? Let's go in the habitat and have a look, shall we? That's right. Our orangutans have turned into chimpanzees. It's a miracle. No, not really. No, I was not convinced basically by the orangutans. After all that time being in here, they weren't using any of these climbing frames. I just don't think the climbing frames were suitable to the animals. And as you can see, the chimpanzees love it. They're all over this climbing frame. They come right up here. I widened this platform. I also put in an extra beam here to link the two. I'll put some bedding up here as well. And the chimpanzees go all over this. They love it. As you can see, they chase each other around. They come sleep up on here. They race up and down this bit here. They climb the trees. So yeah, it's a change, but it's something that really needed to happen. I had to just change obviously the enrichment items here and there. So there's one or two extra things. There's cardboard boxes and one of these, whatever, this little drum thing, but it was worth it. So my orangutan habitat is now a chimpanzee habitat, but they're very happy. And let me just show you their traversable area so you can clearly see that they are able to use everything that I intended. It says that they can climb along these beams, but they don't. I was worried that the graphics might glitch and they might start climbing through the bars or something and escaping, but actually none of that seems to be happening, so that's good. So I was worried that they might be able to just climb right up on the top on this roof, but they don't, so that's fine. So that is our big change, of course. We've also done an awful lot of decorating, so there's a couple of nice flower beds down here. I thought these flat areas here, I didn't want to put shrubs in here because I didn't want to block the view, so I've kept them low and I've made them sort of formal flower beds, and then all the shrubs are in the gaps, and I think they're looking pretty nice. And if we come around the back here, I've done exactly what I said I would. So you've got shrubs kind of under these stairway bits, and then the rest of it is trees. So again, the same selection of trees, or similar at least. What was this one? Oh yeah, poplar. So that was one that I hadn't used before, actually, the poplar. But I thought that looked nice. It's a nice alternative foliage to these conifer trees. What's this one? Oh, that's the acacia. Yeah, again, that's another new one. I don't think I use that by the entrance. So yeah, so there's a nice sort of collage of trees all the way along the back here, and also just a few benches as well, and a bin, so that people can sit up here and enjoy watching the chimpanzees flying around like maniacs, which is nice. And then over here, this is what I've put in here. I built myself a little food stall. So it is a chief beef in here. So it's a very simple building, just a brick building with a bit of tiled roof. Quite like this roof actually. What I did with this, obviously I used the main panels to create the main shape, and then these round ones I just put them on and sunk them in, so they look sort of consistent. They just give an extra bit of shape to the roof. I thought the roof was a little bit plain, so having these extra points on I think makes quite a good difference to it. And I like that I managed to make it round as well. I do like the round buildings better than square. Square's a bit boring. Square can be hard to make look good because it just, I don't know, I just don't like the sharp edges. It's not easy to hide them. So yeah, really like that. Put some bamboo along this edge here. You know, just obviously I needed something that was tall, but not to cover up the bricks, because obviously I've got the ivy growing on the bricks, so I think that looks pretty cool. And then more trees all around the back of it as well. Then this gap in here, again, just a whole load of trees. Got one of these giant cypress trees here, just really sort of the feature plant of this corner. And then more shrubs just here, just filling in this gap between the buildings. Just slowly getting smaller and smaller. Obviously I didn't want this wall completely covered up, because it's actually a really nice looking wall, even though it's just breeze blocks. I like the look of this wall, so I had no problem with some of this being on display. I think it looks much more natural like that. And again, just on this side as well, just more shrubs. So you really feel like you're walking up into a sort of a jungle when you come up here. Now you've got all the bamboos. Everyone knows that bamboo is tall, And so by having the bamboo here, it makes you feel like you're up in the air, which obviously you are. But if I just had normal shrubs in here, you might not feel like it. But when you're up near the top of bamboo, you instantly think, oh, I'm tall, I'm off the ground, which is pretty cool. And then obviously as you get higher and higher and higher, you get a better view. You've got lovely foliage along here. I love the colour along here. Looks very autumnal, doesn't it? Which I really like. And obviously a really good view from up here of the chimps as well, which is cool. Now I was concerned about the view, wasn't I, from the entrance? So let's just go over to the entrance and you'll see what you can see. So as you come in here and you look to your left, you do see, unfortunately, you don't get to see any of the habitat now. You do get to see the backside of a building. It's not great. I mean, I did decorate the back specifically because I know you can see it. So I put some ivy growing up here. So yeah, I guess you might just capture a bit of a glimpse up there, but not a lot. I would have preferred the view to have stayed like it was and have the habitat viewable through this gap. But it's still something, isn't it? You'd still look at that and go, oh, there's something over there, and it's high up in the air as well. So you know, I think it would entice you to go around to the left there and investigate it. But I wanted to do something. I didn't want to just leave this empty. You know, the whole point of this zoo is that I want to have lots of different styles of structures and buildings. So, you know, this was a chance for me to do something a bit new and a bit different. So I have. Shoot me. There we go. So I'm happy with it, and in fact I'm really happy with this whole enclosure. And now that I've got the chimps in and they're actually making use of everything that I've put in, oh, look at them, they're just great, aren't they? Luckily I could keep the forage box because the chimps use it as well. Yeah, I think this habitat has worked out absolutely fantastically. I really do. It's the first time I've done any sort of cage like this. Because in the past you couldn't do this until they put this mesh piece into the game. You really couldn't create this sort of thing. You could create the flat sides using the in-game fencing, but you couldn't do this angled stuff at the top, and so it never looked very good. Whereas now you've got this mesh piece, you can create all sorts of different shapes to create this sort of thing. So I'm really happy that they put the mesh into the game, and I'm very happy with how I've used it as well. I think it's turned out probably better than I expected. I always hope that it's going to end up good, and it luckily it always does. Actually, I don't think I've ever created a habitat and hated it. There's always room for improvement, but I don't generally walk away from a habitat thinking I need to make it better. I certainly wouldn't be showing you guys if I wasn't happy with it. So I am happy with it. I think it is good. It is unique, certainly for me. I'm sure other people have done it. And I'm very happy with all my work around it as well. The foliage, I think, let's just zoom up a little bit here. I think it blends in well. I think the continuation with the theme of all these trees along here, I think it all looks nice and natural and consistent. I think it's all in proportion, and yeah, I think it's great fun just to watch the chimps run around. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy indeed. You have to forgive this. This is just my generic trees over here that I sort of copy and paste to create certain areas. So that will disappear, obviously. Yeah, so I think what I'll probably do next is fill in the gap here. So the reason I didn't bring the trees around here is because I am going to put a staircase down from this flat piece here down to the ground, and then the path will probably just loop around here, join back to this one, which will create an area here, which I am going to put a habitat in. And I'm not going to tell you what's going in there. You can have a guess. But I think that's probably what I'm going to do in the next episode. And I will also fill this little area in over here as well, probably with some gardens of some sort. But yeah, I think this gap will probably be my next little project. And yeah, we'll see what I come up with for it. I know what animal I'm putting in if it works. It'll be a pretty simple habitat, but it's, you know, sometimes you just need something small just to fill in the gap, don't you? So that is my plan. But yeah, for today, that is going to be it. I do hope you've enjoyed the video, and maybe I've inspired you to go away and build your own monkey dome or monkey cage. It's not really a dome, but you know what I mean. Yeah, give it a go. It was fun. It was a challenge. I'm not going to lie, it was hard getting these angles right, but I think the end result has been worth all the hours that I've spent building it. So yeah, I really like it. Let me know what you think. If you fancy leaving a comment, that'd be great. And hopefully I can see you in the next episode. And until then, thanks very much for joining me and spending a bit of your time with me today. And do take care of yourselves. And I will see you soon. Bye for now.